we just got even more gameplay for Borderlands 4, and there is a lot of information packed in this. So without further ado, let's jump into it and let you know everything you need to know. First off, the Siren's name is Vex, and she controls something called a Phase Familiar, and her Phase Familiar is a tiger-like creature and goes by the name of Trouble. So, this is Trouble. Also, in this trailer, they did recolor all the Vault Hunters, and they look a lot better. So it does seem like they took our feedback from the previous trailer and made them better. Thank you. It was confirmed we are getting multiple action skills that we can equip just like we had in Borderlands 3, and we see a new one on Rafa here. Rafa is a T-Tier soldier, and that's the guy who had the spinny blades. We called him Spinny Sword Guy in the previous trailers. But yeah, his name is Rafa, and he has a dual machine gun over his shoulders. One of many action skills. In this shot, we see a whip kind of rip through the air. I don't know the Vault Hunter we're looking at here. The customization seems to be different from the original, but one of the 4 Vault Hunters will have a whip. Maybe it's how they naturally melee. It was also confirmed we are getting bigger, like massive, bigger, better bosses. Here's a giant elephant with guns on his back. As for that Malawan engineer Vault Hunter, her name is Harlau, and she is known as a Gravatar, and she was confirmed to be a Malawan combat scientist. And sure enough, the fan theories were correct, and she is a Trant relative. Interesting. She has something similar to Face Lock. You can see here, she picks up an enemy, and they just are frozen in place. Oh, and also we can melee barrels again like we had in Borderlands 3, so you can launch them forward, shoot them in the air, and blow them up. Also, I did mention this in the previous trailer, but Cryo is back. You can see the icon on the barrel right there. And as for the big Viking Vault Hunter, his name is Amon, and he's known as a Forge Knight. As for his backstory, he was raised in a vault monster worshipping cult until the vault was opened and killed everybody he loved. And that is why he wants to hunt vaults and destroy every creature in his path. And just like any Borderlands game, we get our 4 weapon slots, but launchers, grenades, and all that kind of heavy weapon stuff is on its own slot. That's right, launchers and heavy weapons are on their own slot. It seems like when you use them, you do move kind of slow, but you have this massive firepower. And it goes without saying, you know, good for clearing multiple mobs. And I gotta point out, look at this dense mobbing right here. I like to see that because dense mobbing is a lot more fun than killing like 2 or 3 enemies at a time. I'm all for it. Gun design is very, very different. We saw a lot more guns in this trailer, and they look way different from any of the other previous Borderlands games. Oh, guns with legs return too, so yeah, kind of a staple now. I like it. It was also confirmed that all the Vault Hunters have their own personalized vehicles, and there's going to be a lot of customization to them. As you might know, you can grapple in this game to get around, but it was shown that you can use your grapple to pick up things around the world, like, you know, exploding objects, and then sling them back into the enemy. Now, they never showed using it on a barrel specifically, but that could be possible too. Hopping in and out of vehicles is going to be really fast, so there's no slow animation for that. Going back to Vex's Siren, she can use her powers to empower herself, or she can summon her own minions with it for combat. Going back to Rafa, the T-Tier soldier, one of your action skills is the Arc Knives, and when you use the Arc Knives, you go into third person and you can do a cool slew of attacks. As you probably already know, Zane is returning in Borderlands 4, but also is Moxie. And we also get Amara. They all have a slightly updated look too. We're also introduced to somebody known as Echo 4, which is a little helper robot drone. And this guy is going to help you with like navigating or unlocking things. And he actually has a really cool thing where he can overlay a waypoint within the world. So you should never get lost. We get a look at the Borderlands 4 main menu, and it seems like the UI is very like box shaped. There's a lot of boxes, and it does sort of give me Destiny vibes, but not entirely a bad thing. They did confirm there's a better, improved lobby system, but they didn't confirm if like lobbies get disbanded after you save quit or something. So I'm still curious about that. And of course, we do have full crossplay at launch. Alright, now onto that juicy raw gameplay. So we're going to be going to a map called Terminus Range here, and it was confirmed it's going to be one of the 4 mega zones on Kairos. The map is extremely large, and there's next to no loading time at all. Now we get a look at the actual UI of the game. Right off the bat, in the upper right hand corner, you can see we don't have a minimap. I don't know if that's toggleable or if we're going to be going back to the Borderlands 1 compass system. Because at the top, you can see we have a compass that kind of points to where you have to go. And, I mean, I would prefer a minimap, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait until we get more information on that. And then this is a very small thing, but it's something I kind of complained about in Borderlands 3. Bottom left corner, Potent Alchemist. It seems like we are going to have our class mod names back, and that was one thing I really liked in Borderlands 1, 2, and a pre-sequel. Very minor thing, but it's a nice touch. As for your level 1 XP bar, it's going to be in the bottom left-hand corner now, not the bottom middle. And the XP bar is going to wrap around this circle shape instead. As for the objectives, it's now going to be on the left side of the screen. All previous games have had it on the right side, but I guess, you know, they wanted to move it. So, yeah, left side. Alright, check this out. We can now glide. You will have a charge bar, so you can't do it infinitely. And just like fans did predict, we are going to be having wall climbing in this game too. So if you see these specific giant walls, you can climb them. Also, it seems like climbing does not consume like stamina or something. I know a lot of other games do that, and I've never been a fan of it. It was also confirmed we are getting dynamic weather, so weather is going to change on the planet. In the gameplay, they didn't really show any dynamic weather, but maybe it can like snowstorm or rain, be super windy. We'll have to wait and see on that. Now we get a look at the enemy level, health bar, and nameplate. The health bars are going to be a little bit thicker than the previous games. Right here, we enter something called a silo, and there's going to be many of these on the planet. And in the silo, you get what is pretty much a side mission. Also, whenever you find a silo, it will be a fast travel point. So at any time, you can open your minimap and fast travel to that silo. Remember, these maps are large, so we need these fast travels. And here's something really cool. It seems like vaults are not going to be these story-driven, like, focus points in the story. Instead, they're going to be this side thing where you have to find a vault fragment to open the vault. And it's supposed to be this giant dungeon with loot. Honestly, I like to hear that because Borderlands 3, the vaults were kind of lame. Like, yeah, we can go into them, but they were just like a few scattered chests and like a story, like, item, and that's it. So vaults being bigger and better, I think that's a nice touch. Right here, we spend all of our glide, and then we have to fall to the ground. And luckily, there's no fall damage in this game. Right here, I do want to point out the bad. I want to be as transparent as I can with this video. They summoned a personalized vehicle, and there's frame drops happening. I'm really hoping this game is optimized at launch, and we don't have to deal with these frame drops. Going into the next combat area, you can see the enemy health bar has a fire symbol on the right side. We see enemies with the symbol quite a few times in the trailer, but we don't know yet if the enemy is like immune to fire element, or if it means they focus on fire-based attacks. Here's another example. You can see a cryo symbol next to this cryogenic enemy. So are they immune to cryo? Do they attack in cryo? Or is it both? This enemy here has the name Chainmaster under his actual name. We can see an energy chain connected to a drone nearby. But it does make me wonder what is the point of this extra name. As for co-op, it was confirmed that the difficulty is dynamic for each player. So you as the host can make your game really, really hard, and then your co-op partner can put their game on super easy. Also, loot instancing is back from Borderlands 3, so if you get a kill, you get a set of drops, and your co-op partner also gets their own separate set of drops. And we have a new system in place for co-op, so if you're really, really far from your co-op partner, you can fast travel directly to them at any time. Up ahead, we see a mini-boss named Tim, and he has the nameplate Contagious under his main name. Thinking about it now, this could be an extra, like, layer of difficulty on top of the enemy. So Contagious could be, if you're too close, you get poisoned or something? I don't know. Right here, we get a first look at the inventory UI. Going off of the previous Borderlands titles, in the upper right-hand corner, we probably have backpack size, and then your bank size. Now, it is interesting that they list bank within your inventory, so maybe you can transfer things straight to a bank or take them out of a bank on the fly. As for the item rarities, they're a darker, like, deeper color. You have your blue rarity, your purple rarity, and your green rarity. And they did mention there's going to be 8 manufacturers for gear in Borderlands 4. We have Jacobs, we have Malawan, we have Ladoff, we have Torg, we have Tedior, and we get 3 brand new manufacturers. The first one's going to be Order, which is a charge and release type of energy weapon. It seems very similar to what we had in Borderlands 3 with the charge Malawans. So I'm not too excited for that because I was never a huge fan of it. They just felt very slow in combat. And then I don't want to toot my own horn, but I did call it. We have the Ripper manufacturer. That is your new Bandit COB weapon manufacturer. And the Ripper manufacturer is supposed to be fully auto. They didn't really say much more about it. And for the third manufacturer, which I'm the most excited for, is called Daedalus. And this weapon manufacturer gimmick is using multiple types of ammo. They didn't exactly say which ones, but maybe you can spam shotgun ammo or pistol ammo, launcher ammo. It seems to be an all-in-one gun. Right here, I'm pretty excited because we do have the manufacturer weapon part system returning. They show off a Bladoff assault rifle that has a Torg magazine, Malawan elemental switch, and Hyperion shield. So yeah, the manufacturer part system is back, and I'm extremely happy about that. And they did say the higher the rarity, the more parts that can spawn on the weapon. Oh, and they did mention there's going to be underbarrels and alternate fire modes for these weapons too, just like we had in Borderlands 3. Alright, now for the next part of the video. This is the questionable part. I feel like some people are going to like this and some people are going to hate it. We don't exactly have anointments returning to Borderlands 4, but instead we have something called Enhancement. So depending on the manufactured parts you rolled on your gun, you can slap an enhancement on it and make it even better. Right here you can see an enhancement called Recurring Bulwark. So if your weapon has Hyperion licensed parts, you gain 100% weapon shield capacity. And then also 15% weapon status effect chance. So it seems like the numbers might be lower, not, 200% damage or 300% damage like we had in Borderlands 3 with the anointments. So I'm glad to see they scaled it back. Next up, we have the Endless Mags enchantment, and it gives you ammo generator. So if you have order parts on your weapon, you can slowly refill your reserve ammo while holding it. Ammo regeneration, that's pretty cool. Elemental Explosiception. Weapons with Torg parts get 50% more sticky damage. I should have mentioned it earlier, but we don't have artifacts in this game, or relics or whatever. The enhancement system is replacing that. Precise Marksman's High Roller. If you have Ripper parts on your weapon, you get 2% more damage for each consecutive hit up to 25 times. Basically, you cap out at a 50% damage bonus. Critical Elemental Leaper. If you have Jacob parts on your weapon, then you get 40% chance to ricochet non-critical bullets. So it is confirmed right there that the Jacob's Ricochet mechanic is returning. Also, you get a nice stat boost to crit damage, accuracy, and weapon status effect damage. And then as for the legendary one in the upper right hand corner, they didn't hover over it, so kind of a tease. But yeah, I will say I do like the lower numbers. You're not getting a crazy amount of damage for free. It's just a nice little extra bonus. In the next bit, they did confirm that the rarity is going to be more balanced. They even said in Borderlands 3, the legendaries were dropping so often that it devalues the, rarity system. So they're toning it back and making the rarity system feel a lot better and more earned. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, they did not confirm that dedicated drops are returning yet. So if anybody from Gearbox is watching, please, just please add them. Or confirm it or something, like, we need to know. Now we get a look at these skill trees, which is quite different from what we've seen in the previous games. Each Vault Hunter is going to have 3 action skills. In this trailer, they only show off Vex's Siren stuff. So for her first action skill, you have Incarnate. Vex creates a phase explosion, dealing damage to nearby enemies and fully restoring her health. While active, Vex can use Eldritch Blast and gains increased movement speed. Eldritch Blast, press L1 to fire an Eldritch Blast from her offhand, dealing damage to nearby enemies on impact. Dealing gun damage reduces Eldritch Blast cooldown. Press and hold L1 to end Incarnate early, partially refunding your cooldown. Alright, so Eldritch Blast, I believe is the purple orb thing she kind of throws out of her hand. We've seen multiple times, and it seems like an interesting action skill. Next up, we have Phase Familiar, which is that tiger pet we saw from earlier. Vex is joined by her minion, Trouble. When killed, Trouble will respawn after a cooldown. Press L1 to teleport Trouble, dealing damage in an area. Trouble then transforms into a bad A. Sorry, don't cuss on my channel. Fully restoring health and gaining increased damage for a duration. Activating Phase Familiar will respawn Trouble if currently dead. So yeah, you're gonna have a minion similar to what we had for Flak in Borderlands 3, and hopefully it does good damage and has good pathfinding, because yeah, Flak didn't really have that. For the Siren's first skill, we have Hasty Fiends. Vex and her minions gain increased movement speed and damage reduction. Then we have Overpowered. Vex deals increased action skill damage to higher her health. So the action skill damage stat is returning like what we had in Borderlands 3. And then it was confirmed we're also getting augments back, similar to what we had in Borderlands 3. For Blink Strike, we have Command Skill. Press and hold L1 to command Trouble to Blink Strike target enemy. Blink Strike always critically strikes enemies below 50% HP. So with this augment, you can make your pet even better. Violent Outburst, Command Skill. Press and hold L1 to command Trouble to explode himself, dealing ordnance damage to all nearby enemies and restoring health to Vex. While Phase Familiar is active, sacrifice 33% of its maximum health instead. Right here, they only hover over the skill for 2 frames, and this skill is called Morning. Vex's kill skills gain increased effectiveness. We also get a look at a capstone called Trouble Bubble. Trouble now gains Overshield whenever he deals damage. While Phase Familiar is active, Trouble gains an Elemental Aura, dealing ordnance damage over time to nearby enemies. Finally, we have a new system in place called Vault Hunter traits. Each of the 4 Vault Hunters have their own trait, and for Vex, we're going to have Phase Covenant. And this is going to be a passive ability you have at all times. Vex is attuned to the elemental type of her current gun, converting all action skill and melee damage into that type. So if you're holding a corrosion gun, your pet Trouble will be corrosion. Your melee is going to do corrosion damage. Or if you swap to cryo, your pet's going to be cryo. Your melee is going to be cryo. Pretty cool. Oh, and you can pet your pet. Yep. We also have a new system called Rev Kits during combat. So if you have like low HP or shield or anything like that, you can see in the bottom left hand corner we have a little syringe. And when you activate this, you can get a bunch of shield and HP back. Right here, this enemy has under their nameplate Immovable and Regenerative. So again, those could be modifiers for the enemy to make them more difficult. So maybe Immovable means they can't take knockback, and Regenerative means they can regen HP. Now for some really good news. When you're doing a boss fight and take down a boss, you don't have to save quit to respawn the boss. There's a new thing called Moxie's Encore Machine, and you can just respawn the boss on the spot. Now, as for if it sets you back at the last save, or if you could just stay in the arena and spawn a boss infinitely, they didn't explain any of that, and they said they would talk more about it at a later date. But a final bit, we get a look at a big boss fight, and it really does show the scale of these bosses in this game. They did say they're going to be a lot bigger and more mechanically interesting, and I'm all for that. Anyways, that's going to be everything you need to know about the gameplay from today. Be sure to let me know below in the comments what you guys think about this. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it now. I wanted to see that raw gameplay, and we finally got it. I mean, I do have my concerns, is it going to be dedicated farming? Is the frame rate going to be stable? But if they get past that, I truly think this could be a very nice Borderlands game. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this below. Thank you for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.